All right, for today we're talking about Social Security and Medicare, where a lot of your paycheck goes. Do you guys ever look at that? How much of each paycheck goes to all these different things that you feel like that they're just stealing your money? You guys feel like that? Like it's awful, right? You're like, if I could bring home every bit of money I earn, it'd be fantastic. But unfortunately, you don't get to. All right, so Social Security. What is Social Security? All right, first thing, it's a benefit program. It's available jointly through your employer and the United States government. I don't know about you guys, would you ever think of Social Security as a benefit program? You just think of it as that thing that takes all your money from every paycheck. But it actually is a benefit program. Do you guys know what Social Security does? What's it do? Neil's not here to answer all your questions today, guys. You're going to have to talk to me. When do you get Social Security? After you retire. Good. It's how you get paid once you retire, right? Once you're no longer working, that's what gives you money. All right. Social Security covers 90% of all American jobs. When I retire, I do not get to get Social Security. Teachers pay into our own retirement system, not Social Security. Right. It was started by Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1935 in the Federal Insurance Contributions Act, or FICA. I'm sure you guys have seen FICA before. Maybe you're on a bank thing, something that always says like it's insured up to so much by FICA. I don't know, do you guys think that Social Security been around longer than 1935, or does that seem like you're surprised it's only been around that long? Any thoughts? You guys alive this morning? Nobody cares. You're just aimlessly writing. No one's thinking about anything. Nothing. All right. And then what does Social Security do? It provides income for people after they retire. It's your benefits to disabled workers. And if an eligible worker dies, benefits are paid to surviving family members. Okay, so someday you guys are going to want to retire, and you need money when you retire, and this is where it comes from. Does anybody know anybody who's disabled or on disability that gets money? Anybody? Your grandma? My dad is. Like he would love to still be working, but he has bad knees, and he was a maintenance guy. You know, climbing ladders up and down, crawling under machines, trucks, all that kind of stuff. So he has really bad knees. He's had 5 knee replacements. It's a lot. So he's on disability, so he's not able to work, but he gets a paycheck through Social Security because of that. All right, so Social Security and Medicare. When you work at a job covered by Social Security, you must pay FICA taxes. Both Social Security tax and Medicare tax fall underneath this category. Okay, so Social Security, if we know Social Security pays for your wages like once you retire, what's Medicare for? You don't know? You just aimlessly let them take your money every week and don't ever question what it's for? Yeah, some of you probably do. Does anybody know what Medicare's for? Medicare's, yes, it's your insurance. It's your medical insurance. Think about Medicare. It's your medical care after you retire. Oh, if you own your own business, then I think it depends how you set that up. Like I know you have to kind of set up your own, like you pay for your own insurance when you're self-employed, but you have to go through like some program, which I believe still will fall underneath this. As far as I know, I think it still does. As long as you pay into it while you're working, then you can receive those benefits afterwards. So the taxes that you pay into FICA, they cover the cost of federal insurance programs. So Medicare is the nation's largest health insurance program for people ages 65 and older, as well as disabled people under 65. So once you retire, usually you're 65-ish, which is around the age a lot of people retire. That's when you can start getting your Social Security paycheck. That's how you get a paycheck every week. Actually, Social Security, I think, might be paid only monthly. You get one paycheck for the month. And then you also, instead of paying for insurance like you do when you're working, then you get Medicare. And that's the insurance that you have when you retire. Again, for me as a teacher, teachers do not get either of those. We're our own little boat, which sometimes can be great and sometimes can be bad. So do you feel a little better about the money that you pay in now? No, still don't feel any better. Well, think about how that works. So you're paying all that money now. Are you actually using your money when you retire? No. You are paying now, so you are paying for Social Security wages and Medicare, the health insurance for people now who are receiving those funds. So someday when you retire, the younger people of that generation will be paying for you guys. That's kind of how that works. It's actually a pretty smart system when you think about it. That way when you retire, you can still have an income. All right, so how do we pay for Social Security and Medicare? All right, the cost of Social Security is split evenly between you and your employer. For Social Security, a percentage of each worker's salary is taken out of each paycheck up to a set max amount. Medicare tax is paid on all of your income. This is really, really important that you guys understand this as we get going through this chapter. Okay? Social Security will tax you on your income for the year up until you hit a certain maximum amount. So let's say the max is, I don't know, $60,000. So once you would make for the year $60,000, they're going to stop taxing you Social Security. Okay, even if you would max out, let's say you make all kinds of money and you max out in January, great. Then the rest of the year, you wouldn't pay any Social Security tax. Now that max, we'll talk about some different examples of it today, but the max is pretty high up there. Probably most of us won't actually max out based on what you make. Medicare though, no matter if you make millions of dollars a year, they're going to tax you for Medicare all year long, no matter what, no matter how much you make. Now, keeping in mind though that Social Security is a higher percentage than Medicare. Medicare is a lot lower. I think today's numbers, at least last I checked, I'll have to double check again to make sure it hasn't changed. But Social Security was 6.2%. So 6.2% of your income every month, that's where it goes with Social Security. And then Medicare was 1.45%. So it's a lot lower percentage. Right? And this kind of goes back to what we were just talking about. The money that you and your employer contribute to Social Security and Medicare is used to pay the current benefits to someone else. And we just talked about that. When you become eligible for benefits, the people working at that time will be paying for your benefits. So you guys want to make sure that you're raising children someday that are hard workers. That way they're still paying in for yours. That way you can get those benefits someday. Do you guys know how they keep track of Social Security and Medicare and how much you've paid? No? You guys look tired today. Very tired. All right, so next thing we want to talk about is how do they keep track of how much you paid? Or how do they even know if you pay? Is there something that is unique to you that no one else has? Your Social Security number. Good. So how do they keep track of it? The government keeps records of the amounts that you have paid to Social Security and Medicare under your own personal Social Security number. Okay, your Social Security number is put on file when you're hired by a company, so make sure that everything's correct because that's how they keep track of it. Once you really start working a lot and you're eligible for Social Security, they will send you statements. Like my husband's a teacher also, but he worked 10 years. I think you have to work 10 years before you can actually start getting Social Security. So like my husband worked 10 years before he started becoming a teacher. So he's able to get Social Security when he retires someday. Now, he gets Social Security based on the 10 years he worked, and that's when he was in college and whatnot. So it's not like he made a lot then. So like he might get like, $20 a month when he retires from Social Security. But it's all based on, they track that with his Social Security number. How many of you know your Social Security number by heart? That's good. That's better than my last class. Should you tell people your Social Security number? No. Yeah. People get your Social Security number. That's how identity theft happens a lot. They get your Social Security. You can do all kinds of things with that number. I always laugh. You guys have copies of your Social Security cards?
No, I don't.
You don't? You should have a copy of that. If not, you can just go to the Social Security office and ask for one. They can give you a copy of it. But I always laugh because I have mine. My mom, had gotten it when I was a baby, had given it to me. And it says right on there, do not laminate. It's totally laminated. Has been since she gave it to me when I was younger. It's been laminated the whole time. I don't have voids in it anyway. I don't know why you're not supposed to laminate it, but it just makes me laugh every time I think about it. She totally laminated it. Yeah, I'll wait. All right, so calculating Social Security and Medicare taxes. So example 1, Ramiro got his first job in 2016. In that year, Social Security tax was 6.2% of income, up to $118,500. So what that means is you would max out, is what that saying is. Once your income for the year reaches $118,500, Social Security will stop taxing you. Okay? If you never make more than $118,500, you'll just pay your whole year. Okay? But let's say you make that much money by like July, then the rest of the year you won't pay any Social Security tax. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't make $118,500. So it's up there, but there is a max to it. Medicare, though, taxes you on everything, no matter how much you make, and their tax was 1.45%. So if Ramiro earned $73,210 in 2016, how much did he pay for Social Security and Medicare? So did he ever max out? No. So we don't need to worry about him maxing out. Those are the problems that are harder, which I gave you that extra paper. We'll get to that in a minute. But that's where that paper comes in, because people struggle when they max out. All right, but we need to look at, okay, so he made $73,000. He didn't max out. They're going to tax him on everything. So Social Security, you take how much they made, and you multiply it by what the percent was. Now, I've graded the quizzes that were done. I know a few people still need to finish, so I'll probably pass those back to you tomorrow. But on those quizzes, numerous people struggled with changing a percentage to a decimal. Some of you really messed up a lot on those. How do you change 6.2% to a decimal? No. It's 0.062. So some of you are just really good at doing that. If you're not sure, divide by 100. Okay, so you would do 6.2 divided by 100 if you're not sure. And that's going to change that to 0.062. We do that process all semester in here, so make sure we're understanding. If you're not sure, please ask, okay? But you're going to multiply. So he gets taxed on all of it since he never maxed out. So how much does he get taxed for the year on Social Security? And how much cents? Good. Yeah, so over $4,500 of his yearly income went right into Social Security. All right, and then Medicare. Medicare, again, is going to tax you on everything. So their Medicare is 1.45%. What is that as a decimal? It's 0.0145. Again, just to figure that, we're just going to multiply those together. So $1,061.55. A couple of you on that quiz also lost points because you didn't round to the nearest cent. Either you should have rounded up and you didn't, or you did round up and you shouldn't have. So when we go over those tomorrow, make sure we're looking at that. Make sure you're very careful on the change, because I took a point off every time you rounded wrong. The dollar signs look good, though. Most of you, I think only maybe one person lost a point for a missed dollar sign. So overall, you guys did good on that part. All right. Makes sense how you're calculating Social Security, Medicare? Oop, too far. There we go. Example 2. In 1988, Social Security tax was 7.51% to the maximum income of $45,000. So to me, right when I read that, does that seem strange to you? The last problem was 2016, and it was 6.2%. Back in 1988, it was 7.51%. Honestly, I don't know why. Like, it was a higher percentage further back, which to me seems really weird that it was higher and that they actually lowered the percent they're taxing you on. That seems crazy. All right. Back in 88, though, the maximum income was $45,000. Right, now you're like, oh, that seems like a doable income, but you got to think also it was 1988, okay, so it was back further. So you didn't make as much money back then. All right, if Grace earned $51,211 in 1988, how much Social Security did she pay? So did she max out? Yeah, so what's the maximum amount they're going to tax her on? It's just $45,000. Yeah, so her Social Security, the most they're going to tax her on is $45,000. So the fact that she earned over, we don't care about anything over that. The max is 45. And then it was 7.51%. So we're going to multiply by 0.0751. Good. $3,379.50. And again, we have to recognize that that amount is that she's over the maximum. Okay, so you always got to look at that, because I'm going to give you different years where the maximums and whatnot are different. So make sure you read carefully to see what the max is versus what they earned. Determine if they're over the maximum or not. All right, number 3. Number 3, I'm going to have you change something for me. It talks about Social Security, Medicare. Go ahead and cross off the Medicare part. I don't like the way this question is worded. You guys probably wouldn't notice the difference, but it bothers me. So there's 2 spots where it talks about Medicare as well. Taking off Medicare. We're going to assume this is only talking about Social Security. All right, so in 1964, Social Security rate was 5.08%, up to $15,700 earned. So that's nice. The max was only $15,700. But it was 1964. You made a lot less. All right, 10 years later, the percent had increased to 6.01%, and the maximum taxable income had increased to $17,000. If a person earned $30,000 in 1964 and $30,000 in 1974, what was the difference in the Social Security taxes paid? So what do I need to do first? Bella? Good. And then what do I do with those 2 answers? You subtract them. Good. We just need to look at the 2 different years. So if we do 1964, and then the other one's going to be 1974, because I said it was 10 years later. All right, so in 1964, the maximum was $15,700. So if they made $30,000, they're over the max. So the most they can be taxed on is $15,700. All right, and in 1964, the rate was 5.08%. So multiply by 0.0508. All right, so in 1964, they would have paid $797.56. And then we got to figure out 1974, so 10 years later. The maximum then was 17,000, and they made 30,000. So again, they're over the max. So the most they're going to be taxed on is 17,000. And it was increased to 6.01. So 0.0601. All right, so we multiply those to figure out they paid $1,021.70. So the question asked then, what was the difference in the taxes paid? Well, we just need to subtract those. So between those, what's the difference between what they paid? Good. $224.14 is the difference. All right, are we okay in understanding about Social Security maxes out? You can only pay it on a certain amount. Like, that's a big idea for today we need to make sure we got. Okay? All right. Example 4. In 2008, the government took out 6.2% of earnings for Social Security to a maximum of $102,000. For Medicare, 1.45% of earnings was paid. Does Medicare max out? No, they will tax you on everything. How much money would you have had to have earned in 2008 so that their payments into Medicare were equal to their payments into Social Security? Tricky, right? You're like, wait a minute. I'm going to tell you right now, you see questions like this that show up on your test. They show up numerous times this semester. Okay, so maybe make a note, highlight, star, like this will show up again. Okay, so I want to know how much would I have had to have earned so that they were equal to each other. Okay, so we know this is obviously going to have to do some algebra, right? We're going to set up an equation. We're going to have to solve this. So what is X going to stand for? What does X stand for? How much you made. So that's your money made. That's what we need to figure out. Sometimes people get lost in an equation because they don't even know what they're solving for. Okay? We're solving for how much money we made. All right, so we know Social Security, 6.2%, and I know it's a maximum of $102,000. So what's the most I'm going to actually pay into Social Security? How do I figure that out? Yeah, I know for sure the most I'm going to pay in Social Security is going to be my percentage, 0.062 times 102,000. So that's Social Security. The question's asking, when is Social Security going to be equal to Medicare? Well, how much do we pay in Medicare? What's that? Oh, I don't know how much I'm paying. How do you figure out Medicare, though? Medicare is going to be my percentage times what? Times X. Because I know Medicare is taxing me on every bit of the money I make. So Medicare percentage times how much money I made. I want to know, when is that going to be equal to the amount I'm actually going to pay in Social Security? I know I will not pay more than that in Social Security. Okay, so I want to make sure we're okay on the setup. I know the solving of this isn't that bad, but setting it up, the question's asking, when is Social Security equal to Medicare? So you're going to set everything. Okay, Social Security, the most I'm going to pay, 6.2% of the 102,000. Medicare is 1.45% of everything that I make, which is what I'm trying to solve for. Are we okay on the setup? When is one equal to the other? You got to think about percentages for Social Security, percentages for Medicare. What do they tax you on for each of those? All right, so to solve, let's go ahead and just kind of clean up this side. That's going to give you 6,324. And then how do I solve that? Yeah, just divide. We're going to divide by the 0.0145. So how much would you have to make so that they're actually equal to each other? That's a lot of money. $436,137.93. Does it make sense that you'd have to make a whole lot of money to make Medicare equal what you paid in Social Security? Why? You don't stop paying Medicare. And what about the percentages that they take? Medicare's way less. So in order to get the same amount of money in taxes, you're going to have to make a lot of money. You think most people, majority of Americans, actually pay the same into both? No. $436,000 a year. Can you imagine that? That's an insane amount of money. Okay. It's manageable. All right, here, these last two examples we're going to go through is where that little table paper that I gave you comes into play. I gave you on that paper, it's two-sided. I did two tables on each side of that paper. We're only going to need two of those to do the two examples in class, but you have two extra blank ones in case it helps you, then you can use it for like homework or whatever, okay? All right, so in 1978, the Social Security tax was 6.05%, up to a maximum of $17,700. If Dawn earned $48,000, find the following. Okay, so let's talk right now. Did she max out? Yes, she's going to max out. So this amount here, she's going to max out. So if we're talking about Social Security, she will only pay every month until she hits $17,700, and then she's going to stop paying. Okay? All right, so first part, what was her monthly gross pay? How do you figure out how much she made per month? Good. We're going to take how much she makes for the year, divide it by 12, right? She makes $4,000 a month. Now, if you missed part A, you might as well forget the rest of the problem, okay? Because when we pay Social Security and Medicare, they're doing this on a monthly basis is what they're doing. So we need to figure out when does she max out and like how much she's paying in taxes. That's what we're figuring out. So in what month did Dawn reach the maximum taxable Social Security income? We're assuming just by the month for right now, okay? Yeah, whether she's paid weekly, bi-weekly, whatever, doesn't matter. We're just talking by months, okay? That's why we went ahead and switched it to monthly pay. All right, now this is where that table I gave you comes in. All right, so this I think helps you to visually see kind of what's going on, all right? So her monthly income, so starting in January, right, she makes $4,000. And then I have a column for year-to-date income. And then a column for how much Social Security tax she's paying. So year-to-date, obviously in January, is $4,000. And then how much Social Security tax does she pay? So her percentage was 6.05. So you're always just going to take your monthly income and multiply that by your percentage, right? That's what we've been doing this whole time. So, yeah, I don't even have this on here. Is it $242? What? That's what I got. You made me question what I had on my paper. Type it in again. Make sure you didn't just type something in wrong. That'll do it. All right, so how much did they make in February? Another $4,000. Year to date, how much are they up to? $8,000. Has she maxed out yet? No, she hasn't maxed out yet. Okay, so how much did she pay in tax in February? $242. What I find students do is they think about how much they've made like year to date, and then they start telling me the tax on that. Come December, I'm not going to pay all the taxes for everything I've made for the whole year in December. right? You pay month at a time. So we kind of split that up. So in March, how much money did she make? Another $4,000. Year to date, she's made $12,000. We're just adding $4,000 onto that. Has she maxed out yet? Nope. So how much does she pay in tax? $242. I just want you guys to be able to visually kind of see what's going on here. This is where people usually get messed up. April, how much did she make? She made $4,000 again. Year to date, she's now made $16,000. Has she maxed out? All right. So how much did she pay in taxes? This is hard stuff, right? How much did she make in May? $4,000. Year to date, now she's made, has she maxed out? Oh, she's maxed out. So this is where the tricky part comes in. She has now maxed out. The maximum amount that she will pay taxes on is $17,700. Right? You guys with me? So she obviously at $20,000 is now over. So if she was $16,000, how much more did she have to make before she hit the max out amount? Yeah, right. The maximum was $17,700. The month before she had made $16,000. So $1,700. That's all the money of this income that she's being taxed on, because that's how much she needed to hit the maximum amount. So how much does she pay in Social Security tax in that month? We're just going to take the $1,700, multiply that by your percentage to figure out how much she pays in taxes there. Good. So $102, and 85 cents. Talk to me if we're not understanding what I just did. The maximum amount is $17,700. So as we kind of looked at as the year was accumulating, $20,000, she maxed out that month, right? She hit a point in that month where she's no longer, she went over. So we have to look then previous month, subtract that from your max to figure out how much more did she need into that month to hit the maximum amount. And then that's what she's taxed on for that month. So we know this was $4,000 all the way through, right? Is she over the rest of this? Right? She's maxed out. So how much did she pay in taxes here? What about here? Like nothing the rest of the year. It's going to be goose eggs all the way down. Okay, so once you hit maxing out, like there's going to be a month where you're paying a little bit of taxes, right, to get to that max, and then everything else after kind of drops off. So if we come back to the problem, in what month did Dawn reach the maximum taxable Social Security? At what month did she hit it? She hit it in May. That's the month where we're like, whoa, she went over. There's the over month. So she maxed out, whoa, wrong way. She maxed out in May. How much did she pay Social Security in February? Yeah, look back at your table. We're like, all right, February, she paid $242. Okay. How much did she pay in May? Good. 102.85. All right, that was that month that she only paid part of it because she had maxed out during that month. Oh, there's another question down there in there. How much did she pay in November? Nothing. Maybe. The chart's new, so if it helps you, like I literally threw it together last night, so did it help you out a lot? Good. Yeah, so she went through the class last time. This is where a lot of people really struggled, so you said it made it better? Good. All right, do you guys want to try the next one on your own? It's like this. Give it a try. See if you can do it. See if the table helps you. All right, so for this one, we have 7.15%, maximum is 42,000. So Marcus earned 51,600, so clearly he's over. So first, his monthly pay, we have to divide by 12 to get that he makes $4,300 per month. Right, that's how much he makes per month. So then if we go to our table, that's going to help us kind of set this up. So we know it's 4,300. Year to date, 4,300. How do you figure out Social Security tax? You take your monthly income and you're going to multiply that by your percentage. Right, so he paid $307.45. Right, same thing with February, made $4,300 again. Year to date, we're up to $8,600. I have not maxed out, therefore it's going to be the same. I'm going to get real lazy in my writing here, okay? Right, we're going to continue making this much all year, right, every month. I'm going to be real lazy here. So as this goes up, next month I'm going to be up to $12,900. So I'm going to pay the same amount. Then I'm going to be at $17,200. I'll still pay my taxes. $21,500. $25,800. I've not maxed out yet. $30,100. Still haven't maxed out. $34,400. Still haven't maxed. $38,700. Still haven't. And then I hit 43,000. That is where I've maxed out because now I'm over the max of 42,000. So what month did you max out? October. But if we look at how much you were paying in your taxes every month, it is always this right to here, right? Because then things are going to change after that. Once you hit that max out month, things are going to change. Now, some of us were struggling with how much they're taxing you on. I had a couple of people tell me 1,000. You're right, that's 1,000 over the max, but they're taxing me on how much I made. So kind of a little formula that helps you guys out. Always find your max out month, right? This is your max out month. So max out, bless you. You're going to take the previous month, previous year to date, previous months, I don't know, year to date, however you want to think about that, and then minus what? No, I did that backwards, so hold on. Maximum, there we go, minus, that makes more sense. Maximum minus the previous month's year to date. So in other words, for here, I found out I maxed, so then take out your max out amount, which was 42,000, minus the previous month, 38,700. So they're going to tax me on $3,300 that month. I made $4,300, but they don't tax me on all of it because I ended up maxing out. So you take the maximum amount, subtract the previous month's year-to-date total that you've come up with. That's going to help you figure that out. And then we multiply that number by your percent. So 3,300 times 0.0715. So in this month, it's going to be $235.95. What about every month thereafter? 0. 0, 0. So you're going to hit a point whenever you max out, and I think we've got that concept, right? We can see when we're maxing out. That month, your amount that you pay in taxes is going to be different. It's going to be less, and then everything after is going to be nothing. The big thing is figuring out how much they're taxing you on in the month that you max out. So take the maximum amount allowed, which in this case, this problem said 42,000 was the max for that year. Subtract the previous month's year to date, right? Because that's what's happening is how much money did you need to go from here to when you maxed out? We maxed out at 42,000, right? We maxed out, obviously we made more than that here. So we take the maximum amount, subtract the previous month's year to date. That gives you the amount that you were then going to be taxed on. Multiply that by your percent. So back to the problem. At what month did he reach the maximum? What month was that? That was October. How much did Social Security tax did he pay in February? Well, February was the 307.45. How much did he pay in October? 235.95. That is 95, right? 235.95. And then how much did he pay in November? 0. So you can guarantee you will see questions like this that show up on your test, okay? Or I will give you a scenario like this, and I'll break it down A, B, C, D, E, just like that. So you'll recognize it. This is where that table is really going to help you to visually see kind of what's going on. Do you like the table? Yeah. So you want the table maybe to be given to you so you can use that? Okay. If it helps that much, I'll make sure it's in there. Okay. All right. Questions? You okay? Man, time really got away from us today, didn't it?